Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hare Krishna
Yes,
Prabhu, yes.
Prabhuji.
नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18. Mahārāja Parīkṣit Cursed by a Brāhmaṇa Boy. Sūta uvaca yo vai drauniyastra viplushto na maturudare mritaha anugrahad bhagavata Krishna yadbhuta karmana. Sutta Goswami said, due to the mercy of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Maharaj Parikshit, though struck by the weapon of the son of Drona in his mother's womb, could not be burned up. Brahmakoptaditadyastu takshatkat prana viplava na sammumohoru bhayad bhagavati arpita shayah. Furthermore, Maharaj Parikshit was always consciously surrendered to the personality of Godhead, and therefore he was neither afraid nor overwhelmed by fear due to a bird which was to bite him because of the fury of a Brahmana curse. Utsrajya sarvata sangha vignata jita samstita ihi vaya saker jahau sishyo gangayam svakalevaram. Furthermore, after leaving all his associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple to the son of Vyasa, Shukadeva Goswami, and thus he was able to understand the actual position of the personality of Godhead and at last gave up his material body on the bank of Ganges. नोत्तमश्लोकवर्तानां जुष्टतां तत्कर्मामृतं स्यात् सम्भ्रमोऽन्तकालेऽपि स्मरतां तत् पदाम्बुजम्. This was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, for whom the Vedic hymns sing, and who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of having misconceptions even at the last moment of their lives. तावत् कलिर्यप्रभवेत् प्रविष्टोऽपिह सर्वथा यावदीशमः उर्याम् आभिमन्यवे एकरात्. As long as the great, powerful son of Abhimanyu remains the emperor of the world, there is no chance that the personality of Kali will flourish. Yasmin ahane yarhyeva Bhagavan utsa Utsasajjagam Tadaivehanuvritto Sav Adharma Prabhava Kalihi. The very day and the moment the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna left this earth, the personality of Kali, who promotes all kinds of irreligious activities, came into this world. Nanudveshte Kalim Samrat Saranga Ivasarabhuk Kushalani Ashu Siddhyanti Netarani Kritani Yat. Maharaj Yudhishthir was a realist, like the bees who only accept the essence of a flower. He knew perfectly well that in this age of Kali, auspicious things produce good effects immediately, whereas inauspicious acts must be actually performed to render effects. So he was never envious of the personality of Kali. किं नु बालेषु शूरेण कलिना धीरा भूरिणा प्रमत्तेषु यो वृको नृषु वर्तते. Maharaj Parishit considered that less intelligent men might find the personality of Godhead Kali to be very powerful, but those who are self-controlled would have nothing to fear. The king was powerful like a tiger and took care for the foolish and careless persons. उपवर्णितम् एतद्वः पुण्यं पारीक्षितं मया वासुदेवकथोपेतम् आख्यानं यत् अपृच्छत. O sages, as you did ask me, now I have described almost everything regarding the narrations about the Lord Krishna in connection with the history of the pious Maharaj Parikshit. यायाः कथा भगवतः कथनीयोरु कर्मणः गुणकर्माश्रया पुंभिर्हि संसेव्यास्त्य बुभुषुभिः. Those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and qualities of the person of Godhead who acts wonderfully. Risha Uvacha Sutajiva Sama Saumya शाश्वतीर्विशदं यशः यस्त्वं संसति कृष्णस्य मर्त्यायान् अमृतं हि नः. The good sages said, O grave Suta Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame, for you are speaking very nicely about the activities of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. This is just like nectar for mortal beings like us. कर्मणि अस्मिन् अनाश्वसे धूम धूम्रा धूम्रात्मनं भवान् आपाययति गोविन्द पादपद्मासवं मधु. We have just begun the performance of this fruitful activity, O sacrificial fire, without certainty of its result due to the many imperfections in our action. Our bodies have become black from the smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead Govinda, which you are distributing. तुलयाम लवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गी सङ्गस्य मर्त्यानां किम् उताशिषः. The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter. And what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. को नाम तृप्येद् रसवित् कथायां महात्मैकान्तपरायणस्य नान्तं गुणानाम् अगुणस्य जग्मुर्योगेश्वराये भवपादमुख्याः. The personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, Govinda, is the exclusive shelter for all living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar, rasa, ever be fully satiated by hearing topics about him? तन्नो तन्नो भवान् वै भगवत्प्रदानो महात्मकै महात्मै महत्ता महत्तमैकान्तपरायणस्य हरेरुदारं चरितं विशुद्धं शुश्रूषतां नो वितनोतु विद्वन्. O Suta Goswami, you are a learned and pure devotee of Lord because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord, which are above all material conception, for we are anxious to receive such messages. स वै महाभागवतः परीक्षेत् येनापवर्गाख्यम् अदभ्रबुद्धिः ज्ञानेन वैयसाखी शब्दितेन बेजे खगेन्द्र ध्वजपादमूलम्. O Suta Goswami, please describe those topics of the Lord by which Parikshit Maharaj, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of birds. Those topics were vibrated by the son of Vyasa, Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Tanna param punyam asamvrittartam आख्यानम् अद्भुत अत्यद्भुत योगनिष्ठम् आख्यायि अनन्ताचरितोपपन्नं पारीक्षितं भागवताभिरामम्. Thus, please narrate to us the narrations of the unlimited, for they are purifying and supreme. They were spoken to Maharaj Parikshit, and they are very dear to the pure devotees, being fully full of bhakti yoga. सूत उवाच अहो वयं जन्मभृतोऽद्य आस्म वृद्धानुवृत्त्यापि विलोमजाताः दौष्कुल्यम् आदिं विदुनोति शीघ्रं महत् महत् महत्तमानाम् अभिधानयोगः. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, "O God, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted in birthright simply by serving and following the great who are advanced in knowledge. Even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself of all disqualifications resulting from lower births. कुतः पुनर्गृणतो नाम तस्य महत्तमैकान्तपरायणस्य योऽनन्तशक्तिर्भगवान् अनन्तो महद्गुणात् गुणत्वाद् यम् अनन्तम् आहुः. And what to speak of those who are under the direction of the great devotees, chanting the holy name of the Unlimited, who has unlimited potency, the personality of Godhead, unlimited in potency and transcendental by attributes, is called Ananta, unlimited. यतावतालं ननु सूचितेन गुणैरस्मिन्नन्त sorry, असाम्यानतिशायनस्य हि- हित्वेतरान् प्रार्थयतो विभूतिर्यस्याङ्घ्रिरेणुं जुषते अनुभीप्सितो sorry, nabhipsoho. It is now ascertained that He, the person of Godhead, is unlimited and there is none equal to Him. Consequently, no one can speak of Him adequately. Great demigods cannot obtain the favor of Goddess of Fortune even by prayers. But this very Goddess renders service unto the Lord, although He is unwilling to have such service. अथापि यत्पादनखावस्त्रतं जगत् विरिञ्चोपहृतार्हनाम्बः अम्बः शेषं पुनाति अन्यतमो मुकुन्दात् को नाम लोके भगवत्पदार्थः. Who can be worthy of the name of the Supreme Lord but the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna? Brahmaji collected the water emanating from the nails of his feet in order to award it to Lord Shiva as a worshipful welcome. This very water, the Ganges, is purifying the whole universe, including Lord Shiva. यत्रानुरक्ताः सहसैव धीरा व्यापोह्य देहादिषु सङ्ग ऊर्ध्वम् व्रजन्ति तत् पारणं हंसम् अन्त्यं यस्मिन् अहिंसोपसम स्वधर्मः. Self-controlled persons who are attached to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna can all of a sudden give up the world of material attachment, including the gross body and subtle mind, and go away to attain the highest perfection of renounced order of life, by which non-violence and renunciation are consequential. अहं विपृष्टोर्यमनो भवद्भिर् आचक्ष आत्मावगमोऽत्र यावान् नभः पतन्ति आत्मसमं पतत्रिणस् समं विष्णुगतिं विपश्चितः. O rishis, who are as powerfully pure as sun, I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu as far as my knowledge is concerned. As the birds fly in the sky as far as their capacity allows, so do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as their realization allows. एकदा धनुरुद्यम्य विचरन् मृगयां वने मृगा अनुगतः श्रान्तः क्षुदितस्तृष्टो भृशं जलाशयम् अचक्षानः प्रविवेश तम् आश्रमं ददर्श मुनिम् आसीनं शान्तं मीलितलोचनम्. Once upon a time, Maharaj Parikshit, while engaged in hunting in the forest with bow and arrows, became extremely fatigued, hungry, and thirsty while following the stags. While searching for a reservoir of water, he entered the hermitage of well-known Samika Rishi and saw the sage sitting silently with closed eyes. प्रतिरुद्धेन्द्रिया प्राणमनोबुद्धिम् उपारतं स्थानत्रयात् परं प्राप्तं ब्रह्मभूतम् अविक्रियम्. The Muni's sense organs, breath, mind, and intelligence were all restrained from material activities, and he was situated in a trance apart from the three wakefulness, dream, and unconsciousness, having achieved a transcendental position qualitatively equal with the Supreme Absolute. विप्रकीर्ण जटाच्छन्नं रौरवेनाजिनेन च विशुष्यत्तालुरुदकं तथा भूतम् अयाचत. The sage in meditation was covered by the skin of a stag, and long compressed hair was scattered all over him. The king, whose palate was dry from thirst, asked him for water. अलब्धतृणभूमि आदिर् असम्प्राप्तार्घ्ये सुनृतः अवज्ञातम् इवात्मानं मन्यमानश्च चुकोपः. The king, not received by any formal welcome by means of being offered a seat, place, water, and sweet addresses, considered himself neglected, and so thinking he became angry. अभूतपूर्वः सहसा क्षुत्रिभ्याम् अर्दितात्मनः ब्राह्मणं प्रति अभूद्ब्रह्मन् मत्सरो मन्युरेव च. O Brahmanas, the circumstances having distressed him with extreme hunger and thirst, the king directed towards the sage with anger and envy, which he had never before directed toward a Brahmana. स तु ब्रह्मर्षेरंशे गतासुन उरगं रुषा विनिर्गच्छन् धनुष्कोट्या निधाय पुरं पुरम् आगतः. While leaving, the king, being so insulted, picked up a lifeless snake with his bow and angrily placed it on the shoulder of the sage. Then he returned to his palace. एष किं निभृताशेष करुणो मीलिते क्षणः वृषा समाधिर् आहोस्वित् किं नु स्यान् क्षत्र बन्धुभिः. Upon returning, he began to contemplate and argue within himself whether the sage had actually been in meditation with senses concentrated and eyes closed, or whether he had just been feigning trance just to avoid receiving a lower kshatriya. तस्य पुत्रोऽति तेजस्वी विहरन् बालकोर्भकैः राज्ञागं प्रापितं तातं श्रुत्वा तत्रेदम् अब्रवीत्. The sage had a son who was very powerful, being a Brahmana's son. While he was playing with inexperienced boys, he heard of his father's distress, which was occasioned by the king. Then and there, the boy spoke as follows. अहो अधर्मः पालनां विद्वान् पीव्नां बलिभुजाम् इव स्वामिनि अघं यद् दाशानां द्वारापानां शूनाम् इव. The Brahmana's son Shringi said, "Oh, just look at the sins of the rulers who, like crows and watchdogs at the door, perpetrate sins against their masters contrary to the principles governing servants. ब्राह्मणे क्षत्रबन्धुर्हि गृहपालो निरूपितः सकथा तद्गृहे द्वास्तः सभाण्डं भोक्तुम् अर्हति." The descendants of the kingly orders are definitely designated as watchdogs, and they must keep themselves at the door. On what grounds can dogs enter the house and claim to dine with the master on the same plate? कृष्णे गते भगवति शास्त्री उत्पतः गामिनां तद्भिन्न सेतून् अध्याहं शास्मि पश्यत मे बलम्. After the departure of Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead and supreme ruler of everyone, these upstarts have flourished, our protector being gone. Therefore, I myself shall take up this matter and punish them. Just witness my power. इत्युक्त्वा रोषताम्र ताम्राक्ष्रो ताम्राक्षो वयस्यान् ऋषिबालकाः कौशिकी आप उपस्पृश्य वाग्वर्ज्यं विसर्ज्य. The son of Rishi, his eyes red hot with anger, touched the water of the river Kaushika while speaking to his playmates and discharged the following thunderbolts of words. इति लङ्घिता मर्यादं तक्षकः सप्तमे हनि दक्ष्यति स्म कुलाङ्गारं चोदितो मे तथा द्रुहम्. The Brahmana's son cursed the king thus: on the seventh day from today, a snake bird will bite the most wretched one of that dynasty, Mahārāja Parīkṣit, because of his having broken the laws of etiquette by insulting my father. ततोऽभ्येत्याश्रमं बालो गले सर्पकलेवरं पितरं वीक्ष्य दुःखार्तो मुक्तकण्ठो रुरोदः. Thereafter, when the boy returned to the hermitage, he saw a snake on his father's shoulder, and out of his grief he cried out very loudly. सवा अङ्गीरस ब्रह्मन् श्रुत्वा सुत विलापनम् उन्मील्य शनकैर्नेत्रे दृष्ट्वा चांशे मृतोरगम्. O Brahmanas, the rishi who was born in the family of Angira Muni, hearing his son crying, gradually opened his eyes and saw the dead snake around his neck. विसृजातं च पप्रच्छ वस्त कस्मादिरोधिषि केन वा ते वक्रतम् इति उक्तः स न्यवेदयत्. He threw the dead snake aside and asked his son why he was crying, whether anyone had done him harm. On hearing this, the son explained to him what had happened. निशम्य सप्तम अतद अर्हत नरेन्द्रम स ब्राह्मणो नात्मजम अभ्यनंदत अहो बताम हो महद अध्यते कृतम अल्पीयसी द्रोह उरुर्दमो धृतः. The father heard from his son that the king had been cursed, although he should never have been condemned, for he was the best amongst all human beings. The rishi did not congratulate his son, but on the contrary began to repent, saying, alas, what a great sinful act was performed by my son! He has awarded heavy punishment for an insignificant offense. न वै नृभिर्नरदेवं पराख्यं सम्मातुम् अर्हसि अविपक्वबुद्धे यत् तेजसा दुर्विषहेण गुप्ता विन्दन्ति भद्राणि अकुतो भया प्रजाः. O my boy, your intelligence is immature, and therefore you have no knowledge that the king, who is the best among human beings, is as good as the personality of Godhead. He is never to be placed on an equal footing with common men. The citizens of the state live in prosperity, being protected by his unsurpassable prowess. अलक्ष्यमाने नरदेवनाम्नि रताङ्गपाणौ अयम् अन्धलोकः तदा हि चौर प्रचुरो विनक्ष्ययति अरक्ष्यमाणो विवरुथव क्षणात्. My dear boy, the Lord who carries the wheel of a chariot is represented by the monarchical regime, and when this regime is abolished, the whole world becomes filled with thieves who then at once vanquish the unprotected subjects like scattered lambs. तदद्यनः पापम् उपैति अनन्वयम् यन्नष्टनाथास्य वसोर्विलुप् विलुम्पकात् परस्परं गृह्णन्ति सपन्ति सपन्ति वृजन्ते पशून् श्रियो रथान् पुरु दस्य वो जनाः. Due to the termination of the monarchical regimes and the plundering of the people's wealth by rogues and thieves, there will be great social disruptions. People will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen, and for all these sins we shall be responsible. तदार्यधर्मः प्रविलीयतेन वर्णाश्रमाचार युथ त्रयीमयः ततो रथ कामाभिनिवेशितात्मनां शूनां कपीनाम् इव वर्णसङ्करा. At that time, the people in general will fall systematically from the path of progressive civilization in respect to the qualitative engagements of the castes and the orders of social and Vedic injunctions. Thus, they will be more attracted to economic development for sense gratification, and as a result, there will be an unwanted population on the level of dogs and monkeys. धर्मपालो नरपतिः स तु सम्राट् बृहच्छ्रवाः साक्षान् महाभागवतो राजर्षि हयमेधयात् क्षुत्रुत् श्रम युतो दिनो नैव नैवास्मिक चापम् अर्हति. The Emperor Parikshit is a pious king. He is highly celebrated and is a first class devotee of the personality of Godhead. He is a saint amongst royalty and he has performed many horse sacrifices. When such a king is tired and fatigued, being stricken with hunger and thirst, he does not at all deserve to be cursed. अपापेषु स्ववृत्त्येषु बालेनापक्वबुद्धिना पापं कृतं तद् भगवान् सर्वात्मा क्षन्तुम् अर्हति. Then the rishi prayed to the all-pervading personality of Godhead to pardon his immature boy who had no intelligence and who committed the great sin of cursing a person who was completely free from all sins, who was subordinate, and who deserved to be protected. तिरि- तिरस्कृत्य विप्रलब्धाः सप्ताः क्षिप्ताः हता अपि नास्य तत् प्रतिकुर्वन्ति तद्भक्ता प्रभवोऽपि हि. The devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. इति पुत्र कृता कृताघ्येन सोऽनुतप्तो महामुनिः स्वयं विप्रकृतो राज्ञा नैवाघं तं तद् अचिन्तयत्. The sage thus regretted the sin committed by his own son. He did not take the insult paid by the king very seriously. प्रायशः साधवो लोके परैर्द्वन्द्वेषु योजिताः न व्यतन्ति न हृष्यन्ति तत् यतात्मा गुणाश्रयः. Generally, the transcendentalists, even though engaged by others in the dualities of the material world, are not distressed, nor do they take pleasure in worldly things, for they are transcendentally engaged. Thus ends the 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, titled Mahārāja Parīkṣit Cursed by a Brahmana. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, this chapter E is already opening for a very important dialogue that happens, because if this event wouldn't happen, then Sukadeva Goswami wouldn't have been approached by Parikshit Maharaj. And when Sukadeva Goswami comes, um, this opportunity of speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj is coming in this way, but we can still see how it actually started in this chapter. Hmm. This is chapter 18, where we can see what happened is Maharaj Parikshit birth, yeah, and the way he was ruling and dealing with Kali is appreciated here for the first 10 verses. In that, the key is we can see that those who those who have dedicated their lives to the Lord's topics uh, and are constantly remembering his lotus feet do not have misconceptions even at the time of death. And this is the quality or the level of quality of devotion that Parikshit Maharaj had. Uh, so Parikshit Maharaj birth is glorious. We know that how Krishna has protected. His consciousness is great. His surrender to death is also appreciated. It said, Nottama shloka vartanam jushtatam tat kathamritam syat sambhramo antakalepi smaratam tat padambujam. He didn't live even at the time of death, which is kind of very um, un, mm, fearful, yeah, which can be kind of yeah, uh, filled with anxiety and pain, distress. So, at the time, a devotee who is always focused at the feet of the Lord, he can pass that stage. Kali's situation after being punished by Parikshit Maharaj, as long as the power of Parikshit was there, there was no chance for Kali would flourish. So, though he took the places in those places where what are these four? Forgot. One is definitely the gold. One is prostitution. Um, no, I don't know. Just going back. What are the four places? Yeah, the four places that he asked were four places were given. Then he didn't was not so happy. He was asking, "Can you give me one more?"
Gambling, drinking.
Four are gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. Yeah. Again, I'll repeat again. So gambling, drinking, prostitution, animal slaughtering. So this is where directly we see our four regulative principles of meat eating. Yeah, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex are there. So and these are the places. But because Emperor Parikshit was there, that's why Kali could not flourish. So he was waiting. How can this person who is there? How can he just mm, mm, be sent so that yeah things can move on for him for the Kali to actually um become fully flourished. So being a realist, Maharaj Parikshit was not envious of Kali. Why? Because like a bee accepts the essence of a flower. He knew the good qualities of Kali Yuga. There are definitely in Kali Yuga very good. What is that? That the auspicious acts bear effect just by immediate by intending to them. Means if we just think about auspicious things that I want to do, even if we have not yet done, even if we just yeah, but our genuine, sincere interest is there to perform devotional services or other auspicious activities, one is already getting the merits of it. And not only that, whereas sinful acts bear results only by actually doing them, which means the sinful act only after performing, not at a mind level, not at a thinking level, uh, not at conception level, but actually implementation level. Only then it becomes manifesting. So that is the greatness of Kali. So he was seeing that okay, Kali has its own good, so it can. So Kali is fearful for the less intelligent, but for devotees, there is no problem because considering this, Maharaj Parishit took care of foolish people so that he was making sure that foolish people are educated so that they are not scared of Kali. Hmm. Mm. So in this way, importance, and he is saying, how can that be done? How can a foolish person be elevated by discussing bhakti, by Bhagavat Katha? Those who are desirous of perfection in life must submissively hear the topics concerning the transcendental, wonderful activities of the Lord. And yes, so saying so, then Suta Goswami may here is asked the rishis, Saunakadi rishis, they are asking Suta Goswami, can you please May you live many years and have eternal fame, since you narrate the nectar of the Lord to us. And saying so, he's saying, how fortunate are we? We are so fortunate to be with you, Suta Goswami. Why? Even a moment of a devotee's association, Tulayama, Tulayama Lavanapi. Lavenapi is very, very minute. Hmm? Na Swargyam Napunar Bhavam. He says, cannot be compared to Swargam. Hmm? Napunar, not only to going to Swarga or also liberation. What to speak of any worldly benediction. So, and one who hears to Bhagavad Gita, they always are eager to hear again and again, more and more. So there is no satiation. So, ko nama tripyed rasavit kathayam. So who will be saturated? There is no one. Yeah, Brahma, Lord Shiva, they are eager again and again. They want to hear again and again. Nantam Gunanam Agunasya Jagmur Yogeshwara Ye Bhavapada Mukhya. So they want to hear more and more. And then the rishis are glorifying the speaker, Bhagavad Pradhano. The Supreme Lord is your chief object of service, Ekanta Para Yanasya. And we are very eager to hear from you. And about what? About Udara and Vishuddham, about the Lord. So Parikshit attained the Lord, and it goes further, attained the lotus feet by hearing the Lord's topic spoken by Sukadeva Goswami. So please describe them to us. Hmm? Narrate the narrations of the unlimited. Here Lord is referred as Ananta. Why? Because they are supreme, purifying. The narrations are supreme, are purifying, are wonderful, full of bhakti yoga, and here we spoken about Parikshit, spoken to Parikshit Maharaj, um, uh, dear to the devotees. He is very dear to the devotees. So this is definitely a very important narration, and please tell us. And after such an encouragement to see the audience to whom Suta Goswami is speaking are not ordinary but very, very eager to know the narrations of the Lord. Suta Goswami glorifies Krishna. He is saying, Aho Vayam Janma Bratodaya Hasma. He is saying, serving, following, and conversing with great souls cleanses oneself of disqualifications arise from low birth. Why? Because Suta Goswami is born of a mixed caste. Viloma Jata. Here it is mentioned. Jata Daushkulyam. He himself is saying, I am of that. But what is that? Is serving, following, and conversing with great souls. Cleanses one from all the disqualifications. So it doesn't matter by birth who we are, but when one comes in contact with this Amala Purana, Bhagavata Purana, what is happening is the narrations of the Lord will purify one from any kind of disqualification. And in fact, the power of chanting is glorified next. What then to speak of those who are under the direction of great devotees and chanting the holy name of Lord Ananta, who is unlimited in potency? So in this way, and this Lord is so anant and so great that the goddess of fortune hankers for his service. Goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, she's always wants to serve the Lord. Of course, the Lord is not so. He's unwilling to receive it. He doesn't want because he is fine. But goddess of fortune, it's not like okay, you do my service. Rather, it's Lakshmi Devi who wants to do service, and the Lord is accepting to as a reciprocation only. Who else but Lord Krishna can be called Bhagavan? The water from his toe nails was collected by Brahma and purifies the three worlds along with Lord Shiva. Dhiras who are firmly attached to Krishna can immediately give up attachment to the gross and subtle bodies and attain Paramahamsa stage. So that's why it is called Bhagavata means Paramahamsa study. It's like um, um, uh, a studium, or what do you call this? Not it is for Paramahamsas. It's a book for Paramahamsa, so that. Uh, but what to speak of that? It is also for one to come to the Paramahamsa stage. Here he says, yeah, attain the Paramahamsa stage in which non-violence and renunciation are consequential. One becomes automatically non-violent and also becomes renounced. Just by engaging in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one comes to Paramahamsa stage. And then Suta Goswami is saying, I will describe Lord Vishnu's pastimes as far as my knowledge goes. It just like as far as a bird can fly in the sky. Uh, its capacity, what is the capacity of a bird flying in the sky? It can't go from one end of the sky to the other end. It can go only to a certain extent, which is little. So Suta Goswami humbly is saying, yeah, it is hard to describe the glories of the Lord and his devotees. The narrations are but to the level of one can realize, to that level he can say. So Suta Goswami is saying, I can try to tell that. So after saying this, Suta Goswami continues what he was telling about Parikshit Maharaj. He says, Parikshit Maharaj, what happened here is, once he was fatigued and thirsty while hunting in the forest. In the search of water, he entered a hermitage of Samika Rishi, and where he wanted to get some water and also for his horses. Out of fatigue, out of great inconvenience, when he came there, he saw that the rishi was in meditation, and seeing the rishi in meditation, but because he was having extreme fatigue, so he just asked for water. Uh, and when he asked water, uh, mm, mm, the Muni who was in rapt samadhi, he was so much that he was almost in union with the absolute. It said in that meditation, Muni didn't respond. King, upon not being properly welcomed with a seat, when we know that okay, there is a king who has come, then one should honor him. Why? Because he is the one who is the ruler, and he is ruling us, which means he is our master and we are his servant. And a servant should have the etiquette to honor his master by offering a seat, water, and offer kind words. And Parikshit Maharaj felt neglected and became angry. His anger was unprecedented and circumstantial due to hunger and thirst. This is what Suta Goswami is clarifying. What was the reason for his anger? He became spiteful and envious towards the Brahmana. Then he angrily placed a lifeless snake. Uh, so here the question is, Parikshit Maharaj being distressed by hunger and thirst was only a show. We may get a question, but still, can a king do that? Can a king misbehave with a Brahmana? Can a king at all, that too, a devotee, if he does like that, what will others do is they'll also think, it's for a king like Parikshit Maharaj, he did like that. What to speak of normal devotees, we can also do that. No, we have to understand that Parikshit Maharaj was not doing just under the influence of karma. Uh, not under the influence of the material influences, but we can see that it is a show so that we can see that because he was not disturbed by glaring heat of Brahmastra. We know that he is not ordinary. Even in the womb of his mother, uh, one should not think that has committed a sin because of bad habits. It was the desire of the Lord to appear in the form of Bhagavatam. That's why the Lord has arranged. So this would we can see a seed of um uh, a series of incidents that happen so that Parikshit Maharaj is um, going to approach Sukadeva Goswami to hear Bhagavatam. So this is only that we have to see that the Lord has used Parikshit Maharaj so that he can leave Bhagavatam. So then Parikshit Maharaj was contemplating, was he actually, after going back home, he was thinking, was he in Samadhi or was he just acting so that he can avoid, because I am not a qualified for Kshatriya Bandhu. Means not even a proper high quality Kshatriya, but a low one, because he himself was humble and thinking, I am not a great qualified leader. So while this happened and he was at home, then meanwhile what happened was the inexperienced Shringi, the son of Samika Rishi, he he was so powerful, while playing with other boys, heard about his king's offense to his father and spoke. Shringi attained the required Brahmanical power both by birth and by training, but was lacking the culture due to inexperience and was puffed up with Brahmanical power by the influence of Kali. So these are the causes for which, I mean, in the purport it's mentioned, these are the causes due to which Shringi has cursed Parikshit Maharaj. So we'll also we'll also go through tomorrow. Was there any role, I mean, fault in Shringi, Shringi's part? We'll discuss that tomorrow. But Shringi's words, he said, "Oh, just look at this sinful rulers. They are like crows and watchdogs at door, perpetrate sins against this master." So Shringi, out of Shastric understanding, he sees the Brahmanas are the head, yeah, and also Brahmanas are very dear to the Lord. So which means indeed Brahmanas are superior, and in fact the role of Kshatriyas is to protect the Brahmanas. And how can that this this Kshatriya has insulted, has done this? The kings are designated as watchdogs by the Brahmanas. So this is very, very strong word, isn't it? Yeah. But in fact, that is the fact. It is addressed in Srimad. You can remember this very much. That it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam that the role of administrator, the role of a leader, the role of a ruler is just to be a watchdog. The role of a watchdog is to make sure that all whatever is under his jurisdiction is protected. Just like a dog is protecting the house against theft, yeah. So the role of, it is so mentioned that it is that his duty is a watchdog and by Brahman. And how can dogs that guard the door enter the house and dine with the master on the same plate? Huh? This is what he says. A dog should rather be satisfied with whatever the master is giving, but rather shouldn't come to the master and demand. Yeah, just like here, how could this Parikshit come and ask for water? Yeah, maybe. After the Lord's Krishna's departure, see how upstarts have become so much free that they are doing whatever they want. So Shringi simply cursed. With eyes red hot with anger, he touched the water of Kaushika river and discharged the following words. On the seventh day, Sapta, oh, whatever, forgot the word. Day from today, a snake bite will bite the wretched one of that dynasty for breaking the etiquette by insulting my father. So here it is said not insulting a Brahmana. What Shringi was more concerned, it was because the insult of his father. He took it personal. He was uh, from etiquette and from experience. He was not uh, at, sufficiently well positioned, so he has just cursed. And Shringi approached after that his father. He then returned home and he saw this, and hearing his son crying, Samika Rishi opened his eyes and saw the dead snake. He threw off the dead snake and asked if someone had harmed his son. So Shringi then explained what everything happened, and that caused great pain to Samika Rishi. He was thinking, "Oh, son, what did you do? It's not right to curse a king. Why? Because he is a representative of the Lord. So the results of abolishing a king, yeah, if the king is going to die because of your curse, just imagine what is going to happen is that the Lord is represented by the monarchical regime. When this is abolished, the world becomes filled with thieves and the unprotected people scatter like lambs. Great social disruption will follow. Mm, Proper conduct of men prescribed to Varnashrama will be destroyed. As a result of that, there will be unwanted population on the level of dogs and monkeys. So one starts behaving like dogs and monkeys. And Emperor Parikshit, yeah, he is a Mahabhagavata, well known, and Rajarshi, and has performed many horse sacrifices. He does not deserve to be cursed when fatigued by hunger and thirst. So Samika prays for his son. O Lord, uh, may Lord pardon this boy who, due to immature intelligence, committed the sin of cursing a sinless devotee who deserved to be protected. So devotees are so forbearing. Here it is said that despite being defamed. The Samika Rishi, though he was defamed and he was I mean, not he. In general, the devotees are so great that they don't take offense, they don't get offended. Here we say, he was saying, Tiraskritya, being rejected, or Vipralabdaha, Sapta, Kshita, Hata, Api. It says whether one is defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, Hata. They are never inclined to avenge themselves, although capable to do so. So here we see that devotee of the Lord is more powerful than a Brahmana. So Samika Rishi was not just a Brahmana who is well versed in scriptures, who knows, who has power, who has birth. No, he is more than that because he is a devotee. He could appreciate Mahā Parīkṣit, and that's why he immediately asked the Lord to pardon his son. Whenever whatever power he may have is always utilized in service towards the Lord and his devotees only. The sage thus regretted his son's sin. He did not take the king's insult seriously. So, thus concludes the transcendentalists, though engaged by others in duality of material world, are not distressed, nor do they take pleasure in worldly things. So, in fact, whatever we have seen from our understanding, from our limited material way of or mundane way of thinking, might look, hey, what is has happened, and how can this happen, and what should have been done? All these things, but a devotee who is uh, in the Nivritti Marga, he has no connection with the material dealings. So he would not be bothered how one is materially treated. Rather, he always want to engage himself in advancement of spiritual life. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any comments, questions, or any verse we want to go through? Yeah, anyone? Let me know if you see the screen. Yeah, if no questions, then yeah. Does someone want to say? Okay. Yeah, then we see us tomorrow to conclude this chapter, sorry, this canto. And yeah, after that, next week we can start the second canto. So we're going to conclude with the appearance of Sukadeva Goswami and enter into the second canto. So yeah, see you tomorrow. Vancha kalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Hari. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.